Hey there YouTube, this is Prepper Marine 81 here. This video is going to be going over some nutritional information and your food preps. Something that I noticed the other day when I went to the grocery store to buy some canned vegetables was that, surprisingly, like I've never really picked up, a can of peas or a frozen bag of corn or something and really pay attention to what the nutritional content was. I just kind of assumed, it's vegetables, it's healthy for you, you're supposed to eat it. That's what Mom always said, eat your vegetables. So I never really gave it a second thought until I started to really look at the nutritional value of a lot of different vegetables. And I was really surprised by, I guess, the lack of it. You're always preached, eat a lot of fruits and vegetables and everything growing up. At least I did. And granted, I'm not saying that they're not good for you or anything like that. But I guess I didn't really realize that most vegetables are very, nutritional value specific. You can't just eat any vegetable and, I guess, expect to be completely healthy. You're going to malnourish yourself if you stick with, one or a lot of them because, like carrots, for instance. Carrots are really good in vitamin A, but beyond that, they really don't have hardly anything to them. And a lot of vegetables are like that. They'll be very nutritionally valued specific in a certain certain vitamin, and not really have much else other than that. And a lot of them, quite honestly, have just a lot of sodium and nothing else. So at least the canned versions do. And you need to kind of pay attention to that because then you're just loading yourself up with salt, and that's really all you're getting out of it. I noticed like spinach, for instance, that is one of the better ones that I found. It's like a vegetable super vegetable. It's got, I wrote down some of the stuff. Well, before I get started on that, let me just say one other thing real quick. When you're looking at nutritional content for vegetables or any kind of food for that matter, you need to pay attention to whatever the serving size is as well, because you don't want to be picking up a vegetable that you're thinking you're getting a good source of a certain type of vitamin or mineral out of, but the serving size is so large that you're having to eat a ton of it in order to get that nutritional benefit. If it's a small portion, say if it's a half cup, a quarter cup, something like that, that's a very small amount that you're having to eat to get the benefit from. You don't want to have to be trying to eat, 2 cans of a certain type of vegetable in order to get, the vitamins out of it. That's just not a, real efficient way to go about it. But something like spinach is very efficient because, it's got 3 grams of fiber, 220 milligrams of potassium. Now this is all out of a half cup serving size, so relatively small. 5 grams of protein, 170% of your vitamin A, 20% of your calcium, 10% of your iron. Relatively low on carbohydrates, but you're not really trying to get carbohydrates out of spinach anyways. Vitamin C, 25% of your vitamin C. I compared this to pineapple. It actually spinach has more vitamin C in it per serving than what pineapple does. So that kind of gives you a little bit of an example of what I'm talking about, where pay a little bit more attention to what's in the foods that you're buying for your preps, rather than just buying food for preps. If you're all bulked up on something that doesn't have any kind of nutritional value to it, what's the point of having it? You're trying to survive off of this stuff. You need to pay attention to what you're putting in your body and what you're getting out of the food that you're eating, the space you're taking up for your preps, and the money you're putting into your preps. I think especially if you're someone who's starting out as a prepper, you really try to need to focus on what kind of benefit you're getting for every dollar that you're spending on, whether it be a food prep, some sort of piece of equipment or gear. You need to optimize. You need to get like mega bang for every little buck. You know, because a lot of people don't have a lot of money to throw at this stuff. So you got to be really careful about where you're spending your money and what you're getting out of that. You got to think of it as, you know, more of a business transaction. What that whole cost to benefit ratio needs to be as high as you can possibly keep it, especially in the beginning stages. You know, if you're like me, you know, you don't have thousands of dollars to just go out and blow on, you know, everything. So at least starting out, you know, I think if you're coming at it from a standpoint of, I'm buying foods that I'm probably going to get tired of eating the same stuff over and over again, or that I'm not real crazy about the way it tastes, you really got to kind of try to overlook that. You know, I know a lot of people say, only buy what you like, kind of thing. Yes, don't buy something that, you know, makes you want to throw up in your mouth if you try to eat it, because you're not going to be able to eat it unless you're like actually starving. But you know, if it's something that you can eat that you don't mind or you kind of like, you know, if you're in a situation like that, you need to forego what tastes good, you know, what's your favorite vegetable kind of thing, and pay more attention to what you're getting out of it. You need to cover something that's going to sustain life and keep you healthy first. That should be your top priority. Once you get yourself to a point where, say, you're a little bit more comfortable with the amount of food that you have stored up, then, you know, yeah, I think it's okay to, you know, start branching out and getting, you know, different fruits and vegetables and foods and stuff that you like to kind of break up that monotony. But not before that. I think it's kind of stupid to do it that way. You know, buying stuff that, you know, you don't get hardly anything out of, but just tastes good. You know, I think for what I did, you know, once I kind of noticed that about the vegetables, I went and I started looking at the nutritional value and benefit for the rest of the food preps that I bought. And that was really good because I could kind of see some of the stuff that I was putting money into that I shouldn't be, that I should be taking that money and stop buying that kind of stuff and put it into something that I'm getting a lot more out of. Like rice, for instance. I was buying a lot of beans. Beans, you know, are pretty decent in protein, so, you know, I'm not saying don't buy any beans. But at least for right now in the beginning stages, I need to get a lot more rice put back than beans because I've got a decent amount of meats and other protein sources to, you know, basically take the place of the, you know, the biggest benefit that I get out of the beans, which is the, you know, the protein and iron and all that. They do have a lot of fiber. That's another, you know, good point. But I'm getting kind of off track here. What I'm saying is, you know, just bottom line, you know, next time you're in the store, you know, even if you're not buying for preps, just stop by the canned vegetable aisle and start comparing like a few different vegetables, and you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about. In that, there's a lot of them that you don't really get a whole lot out of. There you go. You know, I figured maybe this might help somebody out. You know, something that maybe they didn't quite notice in the process of buying preps or, you know, their food. But if you have any kind of questions or comments or anything like that, please feel free to leave them as always. You know, I mean, I'm not a nutritionalist. I'm just pointing out something that I saw in the way that, you know, I think, you know, I'm going to be handling it from now on. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. Take care. Purple Marine 81 out.